Hey everybody, Brandon Jones here. Welcome to GT Live. This is our third episode. There are 3 parts to every GT Live. All 3 parts of this GT Live are Disney Infinity 2.0. It's the way I want it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Great.
So sit
Everyone
back.
just turned off the feed.
Yeah,
Brandon.
everyone just jumped. So the game that we are going to be playing, you can see behind me, is Disney Infinity 2.0. Specifically, we have 2 brand new characters that came out today. We got Loki and Falcon. We got Ben Moore and Kyle Bosman, who's sitting with Mr. Matt Soley, who's a representative from Disney Interactive. You'll be taking them through the game. They're playing the Avengers playset right now, but they might jump into the toy box and goof around some stuff later. Our community prize this week is awesome, provided by Mr. Brian Nelson from Disney Interactive. Thank you, sir. We are giving away 10 codes for both Sam and Cora in the digital version of 2.0. So this is the version that you can only get on tablets and PC. So 2 codes, one for each. So you got one character, 1 code for Sam, 1 code for Cora, and you can get those for asking a darn good question that we will answer at the end of the show. And last but not least, the third part, the guest, Mr. John Vignocchi, the VP of Disney Interactive.
My God. Is that not crazy?
That is super crazy.
Yeah.
Let's open with that. You got an amazing promotion this year.
I did.
How have your responsibilities changed? Because you were also the executive producer of Disney Infinity 2.0.
Hasn't really changed much. Feels more like a correction, Brandon. I bet that's the most douchey thing I could have said, right? No, actually, to be honest with you, this has been an incredible journey for myself personally and professionally, right? When I joined Disney Interactive in 2009, I was lured with, hey, come work on Tron, which was obviously really important to me as personally because one of my mentors at Midway Games, where I basically grew up and learned the ropes in the gaming industry, had worked on the original Tron arcade game. So I was lured into Disney Interactive with this idea of working on Tron and working with these guys at Propaganda Games, and eventually went on to work on Pirates of the Caribbean Armada of the Damned, which is like this classic, if you guys don't know. It was like this Disney Interactive RPG that was in development for a long time that eventually would go on to get canceled for a variety of different reasons, which one day we'll tell. But then after that, it was like, hey, you know, the team at Avalanche Software doesn't have someone that is necessarily their producer, liaises with them with everything that's happening down in LA with the greater Disney company. Would you mind being that person? And then they flew me out for an interview, which was at a bar. It lasted for about 6 hours.
That's where you do your best work, John.
Thank you. Right? That's actually what we always say on the team. Actually, I guess this is live, so we can't scratch any of that, right? Anyway, so...
what's the code, Brian? Did you just like, when your head comes off of your neck, is that when he said something wrong? Is that how that works? Okay, good.
Yeah, so we did that, and we talked about things like, I mean, the interview process was like, what is the greatest game of all time? What is the most overrated game of all time? And all that kind of stuff. And then I ended up clicking with those guys. We've been best friends ever since. Infinity 1.0 came out, started working on 2, and the possibilities are infinite for the future of the platform. They're branded.
Is that your official statement? Should I just scratch off all of the 2.0 questions that I have?
What's so nice is that I actually can't see Brian Nelson, who's my good buddy, and he's in PR at Disney Interactive and tells me all the time.
Information security.
Yeah, I actually can't see his face. So whether or not what I'm saying is okay or not, all I can see is just kind of the bottom part of his chin. Now I can see your face. Okay.
You might see a projectile come flying over the
right,
cameras.
Probably projectiles. Yeah, if I'm getting too close to something hot, something I'm sure will come right at my face. But yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and it's been wonderful to work with the guys at Avalanche Software, who, of course, the creators of Disney Infinity, and it all started way back in the day with Toy Story 3 and the toy box mode inside of there. So it's cool. It's humbling too. I mean, we've got you know an incredible community, a great fan base, and then I mean, look at this, right? When I walked in here, by the way, for everyone's watching, I'm like, whoa! Like we don't even have this at the office. But this is your collection, right, bro?
Yeah, this is all me. Well, I mean, you sent me a lot of this stuff, but
I like. Whoa! Hashtag Gamergate. No, that was for review, guys. It was for review.
Well,
that's actually that's the PR guys' job to do. Nothing weird, right?
It's all review stuff.
I also did not send you that Mickey Mouse shirt.
This is all hard. No,
just to be very clear about all
I didn't prompt that.
Right.
This is hard work, is what you're looking at here. This is office supplies, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So I mean, do you have all of these characters? For those of you that wouldn't know, you can max these characters in 2.0 up to level 20. Do you have these all level 20?
I divided them into 1.0 and 2.0. So I got the 1.0 guys over here. All my 2.0 guys are level 20. My 1.0 guys are still straggling a little bit. I got to get them up there.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that you're playing honestly. Because
Wait,
it's the people that do the toy box, like, hey, I figured out a way to do a Spark Experience generation machine, which is, by the way, was like, we should talk about it. It's like a huge, great behind the scenes
totally, yeah.
discussion.
I don't know anything about that, John.
So, you do, don't you? Oh my goodness! Then why haven't you finished leveling up Tonto and the Lone Ranger?
You told because
that's the question.
Because it
too focused on Jasmine and Tinkerbell.
While it takes
are you?
a lot of the work away from the process of leveling up figures, it still is work. It still is something you have to invest in. You still got to say like I gotta take the time and level these characters up today. I mean, to actually say something that you actually won't be seeing on the table here.
Anything about Infinity 3.0? We could just get that out of
right.
the way
Well,
right
no,
now.
because people might be concerned. They're like, wait, you're bringing Infinity's just completely taken over the show. Jones is he's working for Interactive now. He's just totally crossed over. I will say for the record, there are no Crystal characters on this table.
There are no Crystal characters.
That's where I draw the line, John.
Yeah. So why?
Because. Well, first of all, because...
Wait, this is what's crazy. For anyone that's watching right now, right? Obviously, Brandon is a super fan. And despite the fact that he says that our PR team, as part of the review process, sent you all of these figures, I know for a fact that you have bought some on your own.
I did. I bought Lightning. I bought the first one.
You bought one.
I bought Lightning, and I got him in, and I stared at him for a good long while, and I was
That's
like,
funny.
I got it.
Because normally it's like the first hit's for free, and then you.
No, that's how it works.
Buy.
Yeah, yeah.
But you actually, so you went on your own and said,
like,
okay, I kind of might like
I got to
this.
distance myself from Crystal.
Okay. Well, Crystal Infinity figures.
Right.
Let's just clarify in case anyone from corporate brand is watching.
So these are my friends, John. These are I look at these characters. These are characters I deeply love, and it's weird to me. Actually, it kind of factors into what Amiibo's doing right now, which is it's weird to me to have like two Sullys. It's like, oh, this is a different version of Sully. It's like, I'm good. I got Sully. I'm good. I don't need like see-through Sully.
You're talking about. You think it's weird that they have multiple variants of the same character,
right? Or well, I don't think it's weird. I'm not surprised why you guys did it.
Well, yeah,
but personally, like you mentioned, as a fan, I like to have one version of the character and have that figure
I see what you're saying.
represent that character
so you're saying
completion.
The reason you don't have the crystals is because you think it's weird to have multiple variants of a character, as with what Amiibo is doing, which has multiple variants of the same character.
It's like Sully's soul is following him around.
Okay, I'm following you right now. Well, that makes a lot of sense. That
cool
actually
looking.
speaks to the Disney purist in you, by the way. That's like, hey, no, I totally want this, to be the representation of Sully that you remember from the films.
Right. I gotta say something negative about Infinity at some point in the stream, because otherwise it's just gonna be
a love
fest.
It's just
gonna be a love fest the
All
entire
right.
time. Speaking of love fest, we're already 10 minutes in the stream. 10 minutes, gone.
Really?
Let's take it back
This
to
is
the
only
extremely
supposed to
talkative
be-
couch, who's just trying to completely vie for attention on the stream.
Hey guys.
Who is playing? Okay, so are we? So it looks like we got. So we got the disc on. So I did a 2.0 stream in its entirety yesterday, but I was missing two elements, which are the new costume for Falcon, which is the new disc, and the new team up disc with Captain Marvel.
Yes.
And
Thank goodness Brian Nelson and the PR team finally got around to announcing those. Yay!
What's cool is that they're in their own pack. So it's not like they're being sent out into the stream with the other trout in the river, and you have to go and buy like a bunch of packs.
It was we knew what was going on, and we wanted this to be. We were like, hey, it doesn't make sense to wave in these power discs prior to the release of Falcon. Plus, at the same time as we're going through this, we're like, geez, if we put this in there and it doesn't actually change a character who has been released yet's costume, and also we don't know when we're planning on, PR doesn't know when they're planning on announcing this character.
Right.
Would hate to tip that off, and so we ended up holding back. And then perhaps holding back, I don't know, I think last week, right, B, we put out the press release about the discs. Did you do that? Yeah, just yesterday.
There you go.
There it is, right? So it's out there. But yeah, I mean, that was part of the reason why we held them back. And then it was like, we have to put this out there. Now, one thing that people have been asking is, can I get it in the UK? We've had some people also send me messages over Twitter, like, can I get it in Australia as well?
Right.
So right now, those two particular markets are controlled by Disney UK. And so in the US, they're definitely there. I don't know if they're coming ever to the UK and Australia, or I guess Europe and Australia. So I apologize for that.
Is like every announcement you guys make immediately followed by 20 comments on what you're not doing?
It's funny because it's gotten now to the point where it's like, and we have a community, right? I mean, this is a ton of fun where people are like, yeah, but what about this, and this? And you have to answer all those different types of questions. And our entire thing is like, we really care about what our fans are saying. And so anyway, regarding those particular discs, that's a little bit of the backstory. story, and also at the same time, that's a little bit what's happening for everyone that's in Europe as well as Australia. But you can definitely go on Amazon and order those and have them imported. So.
It's cool and very it's fun to have the initial character fit into Avengers Assemble. Speaking of Falcon, fit into the style. So I think he like matches the characters more.
Yeah.
And then, but you have the movie version in case you have some kids that just really dug Winter Soldier. And
I
look like that.
and I totally love that Falcon. Like that's my favorite Falcon in our game. Like obviously the original animated one is totally awesome, and that's what we based the figure on. But that particular costume change disc is super wicked and one of my favorites.
The costume discs, I have to say, John, are one of my favorite things about 2.0.
Do you like
Genius.
that? Yeah, that's interesting.
Love and really want to give you credit for going back to 1.0 and giving Jack Skellington a new costume, giving Mr. Incredible,
too.
Jack Sparrow, both Jacks got a nice upgrade for 2.0. Is that something that we can expect from 3.0? Even some more love to 1.0? Just because I think that's great, going back and not forgetting.
Yeah, I mean, I
think
think that like our entire thing is that we care about making sure no matter what happens that we're not forgetting our characters in the past. So when it comes to if you were to go to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes with Infinity, if you go like way back into the corner office when we talk about these kind of things as a team, the one thing we want to do is make sure that like the old characters are just as relevant as the new characters that are coming out. We worked hard to try to put some of the skill trees for the old characters from 1.0 inside of 2.0 because one of our big things was, hey, characters have skill trees now. So we went back and did some of that work. But the same thing with the costume change disc. So we definitely, that's like in the forefront of our mind as we're going through design and as all the guys at Avalanche who are like the geniuses behind all of this are putting it together. We're thinking about those things all the time.
Speaking of characters, I see Loki's back. Loki got snubbed for Hulk for a little bit there. Ben, what was the draw to Hulk? Where did that come from? Just out of curiosity.
Hulk. That was the draw. You pick up cards with one hand. You climb up buildings. It was so much fun. Loki's cool, but he's no Hulk.
It's true.
He's no Hulk. But I had to switch because we were doing a destruction challenge. And Kyle was cheesing it over here. He was just using ranged attacks and could hit everything. And Hulk, I didn't have that option, so I was getting destroyed. So I switched to Loki.
We got Hawkeye right over here. He's got an excellent ranged attack. If you want to toss him
yeah?
on.
Wait a minute. So Hulk is your favorite character?
That I've used so far.
That you've used so far?
Yeah, they've used so far.
But is he your favorite Marvel character?
No, probably not.
Oh, who's
Probably
your favorite
not.
Marvel character?
Probably Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's also super good in this game.
I haven't tried Spider-Man. I got to try him out.
Oh, Spider-Man's wicked, but Venom is clearly...
Venom's pretty sweet.
Oh,
yeah.
Actually, you know what's great about we had a really epic platinum stream, John, where I tried to get my first ever platinum trophy on a PlayStation system, which was for 2.0.
Right.
And the last thing that we had to do was exploration survival mode.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I really dug Spider-Man and Venom because the flying characters would get capped kind of on an isometric ceiling.
That's right.
Whereas the
God,
web
you go so deep, bro.
Whereas the web slingers,
Yeah.
they could get up really, really high and fly around the environment
Have
really
you
fast.
played around, hey, so you guys that are over there, you guys have to do, you're inside of Avengers right now.
Yeah.
Go and do some challenges together where, especially, we've got some PvP challenges in those play sets. There's one that I spent hours on a Friday night with one of my buddies doing. We actually had, it was Spider-Man versus Nova, and we were on a rooftop and just fighting against each other. It was so much fun. So you guys should definitely check that out. But I was actually curious. We should cut over to the couch, please. I want to see someone do a Hulk smash.
Okay.
And if
we gotta
none of
switch
you
characters.
guys will do it, I'll have Matt do it since he reports to me.
Are you in the middle of a challenge
I'm
right
sorry,
now?
when you say do a Hulk smash.
Yeah, I want to see your impression, Hulk smash.
Oh, so you want to see
No,
Ben
in real
Moore
life,
himself do the
IRL,
I
bros.
don't know if you wanna
Hashtag
see that.
IRL.
Hulk smash!
No, that's not bad. You guys did it together. That was kind of cute too. Sully, can you do it?
Oh God.
Oh, God.
No, Matt.
This can't be the
Matt,
first time you've
you're
done it.
going to need to take your shirt off to do this, I think.
I'm not taking
I'm just kidding.
but I'm not going to have to.
Right, we can't do that.
Yeah.
I probably just jumped over some Disney
Oh,
HR
yeah,
line right
yeah,
there.
you got
But
enough
I want to
power.
see an authentic Hulk smash. That's the most important thing.
Come from the diaphragm.
Hulk smash!
Whoa.
Wow.
That was better than us, I think.
Diaphragm.
It was
That
better
came
than
from
us.
your
Yeah,
throat.
that was
Yeah,
good.
that was
It
really
really-
Yeah.
good. Well
and
done.
also, you guys probably know it's not the first time he's done that,
Right?
right? I mean, Matt is one of our, if not our ultimate Marvel nerd on the team, who's like,
But actually, in regards to Nova, if you go back and look at his history in issue number,
And I'm like, whoa, okay.
Well, it's always good when the team's like,
Yeah.
anytime when you're trying to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Well, I like when I went out to Avalanche and had a tour of the team, and I like that there were Avalanche devs while they were giving us demos of certain parts of 2.0. We're like, oh, and by the way, if you can pass on a good word to get Darkwing Duck in the game, we'd really appreciate it. It's like, what clout do we have?
Yeah.
You're in the building that develops
Right,
this game.
right,
I don't know what we
exactly.
can do for you. Let's run to our control room really quick with Ian Hink, who's managing the TriCaster. Ian would like to know where Frozone is at.
Yeah, where's
Mr. Vignocchi?
Frozone?
Where's Frozone
He's like,
at?
the Incredibles in there. So I'm like, yeah, we got the whole family. We even got, we got the villain in there. And he's like, where's Frozone? I'm like,
We had talked a little bit about that regarding in the first version of the game.
Right.
I'm legitimately trying to answer this question, by the way. So we talked about that. So there is a what do we call them? Toy box townsperson, or in development terms we call him a blockhead of Frozone.
Right.
That appears inside the first version of the game. Regarding Infinity 2, why isn't there a Frozone character? I mean, I think it's pretty simple. Too much Sam Jackson for one game. We had Nick Fury.
Right.
And then Frozone. Mind blown. So yeah, that was a crappy way of trying to dodge that question. But
You're doing an excellent job. John. I really appreciate
right.
it.
Working hard, PR.
So what do you think? So just out of curiosity, before we move on to our next segment, Ben, what are you thinking of Infinity 2.0? Have you played Infinity yet? This is the first time you've actually picked up a controller and played 2.0.
Yeah, so my experience with Infinity prior to this is pretty shameful. I saw it at an event, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and I played it for 5 minutes, and then somebody was like, hey, you have to get to your next appointment. So that has been my experience with Infinity before, but I was having a lot of fun. Kyle kind of got me into the habit of just picking up civilians, flying as high as you possibly can, and then throwing them down. That was amusing for a good long time. So
Right.
It's amazing how easily...
I'm so glad I didn't have to jump across this table and punch you if you said something bad.
no,
Just saying, like, our whole team is watching. No, just kidding.
yeah, a punch from you would probably it might kill me.
No, it wouldn't.
It would
Then
get-
I would have Matt punch you, and it would be fine. He kicks his foot up when he punches. It's kind of funny.
It would get more views, man. I would get a still of that.
Yeah,
I would
right.
frame that.
Disney dude totally punches someone. Anyway.
It's amazing how easy you can knock cars 20 feet into the air with really any character. Like
That
once
was-
they're all leveled up,
It was supposed to be fun,
it's
though.
just like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
to.
right.
You know. And yeah, it's funny. I actually had a couple characters standing out. I was like, oh, we got my favorite is rolling a double Yondu. I like that.
Right.
Actually, I'm kind of curious. Before we'll get to you in a second, Bench, real quick.
Sorry about that.
I'm curious how that. I don't know if you want to get. I don't know if this is too inside, but I'm curious that we did get a team up disc and we did get a figure for Yondu. It's the only
Yes.
character you can put two Yondu. So a Yondu can follow a Yondu.
Yes.
And I mean, we've had, you can have villains in there. If you, speaking of Loki, you can have Loki run through the Avengers playset and fight himself.
Right.
Which is really, speaks to kind of the
Sure.
fun freedom of
Yeah.
Infinity 2.0. Was that a scheduling thing that went
Um,
awry, or was that just like, oh hey, look at that, we wound up with two Yondus?
Yeah, actually, interesting. So initially, we had planned to do a Yondu team up disc, which is what you're referring to. That was going to be a part of everything we were doing for Infinity 2.0. And then we had additional production bandwidth. And so we had approached Marvel and said, we've had some ideas for some fun playable characters. What are some of your ideas for fun playable characters? And they came back and said, hey, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out. We think Yondu's going to be a breakout character here. It'd be really cool if you guys considered this as a character. And we're like, all right, this would kind of be a fun character to put in the game. We thought fans would be excited about Yondu, even though they didn't necessarily know. Obviously, the Marvel comic fans totally knew who Yondu was. But when it came to the MCU, people weren't as familiar with him until the theatrical release. And so that's actually, you're kind of right. It was like a little bit of a scheduling thing. When we had that opportunity to do that, Marvel had recommended it, and we took their recommendation.
That had to have been a good feeling, though, because you're planning all this stuff for Guardians.
Yeah.
And then not knowing, hey, a lot of people don't really know these characters. They haven't released a trailer for the film yet.
Right.
And then when buzz really started to happen, early screenings, people were like, man, this is going to be one of the best films of this year.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's like, if Marvel can make a film that has a talking tree and a talking raccoon in it, and other studios have problems doing superhero films,
Making a Wonder Woman movie,
yep, you said it, not me. It's like, God, these guys can do no wrong, right?
Yeah.
And so it's an honor and a privilege to work with those guys on everything we do.
I got a curveball for you. Do you like Nintendo?
Of course I do. I grew up with Nintendo.
Well, we grew up with Nintendo too, and we were on our podcast last week. We
What's
had
your
a great
favorite Nintendo game?
My favorite Nintendo. So this is not a game that appeared on a Nintendo console, but a game that Nintendo made.
How did you twist that? You're answering the question.
Because you say Nintendo
Oh,
game.
I'm sorry. I thought
someone
you were
might think-
saying like, okay, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt
I
you.
learned from you, John. I learned how
Yeah.
to dodge. You
Dude,
gotta
Dad,
set
I
up.
learned from watching
You
you.
gotta set up precedents first and then answer the question.
Sorry.
Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is the best video game ever created by a human being. Period. There's no question. There's no question in my mind.
Interesting.
Favorite Nintendo game?
Favorite Nintendo game?
This is off topic, John, but we'll
Sorry.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Okay.
Super Mario Bros. 3. It just. I feel like that game almost raised me, you know? Like, I stayed home from school to play it. Like, it's just a
I
memory.
will say
of
that
it.
game does not belong on the NES. Like, I don't know what other.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I don't
right.
know what
That
the
does seem
other,
like that.
9,000 games that were released on the NES were
Yeah.
up to, but like,
Yeah.
that, like suddenly this game looked incredible. It's weird.
The
It doesn't look
huge
as good as
sprites.
a Super Nintendo game, but it looks better than NES game
Yeah.
that was ever created.
Yeah, you go back and you look at some of the NES games and you're like, but then you see Mario 3 and it's.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we got a great question in our podcast, which
Sure.
was, what is our favorite Nintendo system? And
Okay.
that got me thinking for this week to do our top 10 Nintendo systems. So including handhelds, including consoles. And if it could play games and Nintendo made a Game & Watch, was unfortunately did not make the list, but it was up for contention.
All right.
And every week on GT Live we talk about number 11, the sad poor entry that almost made it but did not make the countdown. And there are only about 12 or 13 consoles that would be, or systems that would be up for contention. And so almost making the list was the Game Boy Color. And Ben, you came on to talk to Mr. Vignocchi here and talk to our community about why you loved the Game Boy Color.
Yeah,
give the GBC its due.
I feel like the Game Boy Color gets snubbed in a lot of ways because, it didn't seem like a huge advancement. At the time the Game Boy Color came out, there were already color handheld systems that looked way more impressive than the Game Boy Color. You had the Atari Lynx, you had the Sega Nomad, you had the Sega Game Gear.
Hey, was the Turbo Express out right then? Because that was
Yeah,
shiznit.
I believe so. If memory serves me, yes.
Yeah.
But what's awesome about the Game Boy Color, what could be just remembered as a really lame system, actually, we live in this time where there are countless remasters, right?
Right.
The Game Boy Color did it right. They didn't just polish things up. They made them new experiences. And you think about Link's Awakening DX. That transformed that game. You had a whole new dungeon. You had Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, which I would argue is probably the best version of Super Mario Brothers. There's so many awesome hidden things in there that were really, really cool. And you had a lot of games that only came out on Game Boy Color that I think really used advantage of that extra push, like Dragon Warrior 3, for example, I think is a really good thing. So it showed that Nintendo didn't just release something, even if it was technologically behind, they found a way to get you to buy it and to make it valid, I think.
What was your history with the Game Boy, John? Were you just early adopter right there, the black and white?
Without getting totally personal, I remember that, and this is very personal, my parents were going through a divorce, and my mother was working on Saturdays, and I used to use the Game Boy. Like, she'd be like, hey, I need to have you with me. And I would use the Game Boy. I'd sit there and I'd play for hours. Hours and hours and hours, just like sitting there playing Game Boy. I mean, so I have this absolute fondness of Game Boy. It was, I'm gonna say the name of the title wrong, but the one that I remember thinking about these hot Saturdays as all this was going on was, I think it's Gargoyle's Quest. It's an old Capcom game.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was the one that just like really, really stuck with me. Obviously, Super Mario Land, totally awesome. Lots and Tetris, duh. I mean, now who cannot, hear do 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 and not think of.
Well, now we're all going to be hearing it for the rest of this stream. Thanks,
Right,
John.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was my experience with Game Boy. But I wouldn't say that Game Boy is my favorite Nintendo system.
I have one quick question for you.
Or Game Boy Color, sorry.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my favorite, but I think it's cool. Did you ever get together with people and use the link cable?
I'm trying to think of a use case where I would have done that to trigger a memory. So I'm
Did
gonna
you
say
do you ever have
no.
a Pokemon phase?
No.
Okay.
But
Because
wasn't Pokemon? Wait, I guess Pokemon was on Game Boy. Right?
Yeah, it's
Now
sort of
thinking about
original Game
DS,
Boy,
right,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, never did that.
it's something that I weirdly missed, because everything's done online now. You send a party invite to your friends and they join you, and that's cool. But I remember specifically making trips to my friend's house to meet them in person to trade Pokemon, and it's something I would look forward to all week. And,
Aw.
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cool. I sort of missed that experience. It's lost to time,
Of course, we got a nod in the chat. I don't remember who exactly said it, but I'm sure more than one person did. But the Virtual Boy also was probably like number 14.
I remember
It should be dead last.
That was the first. Yeah, that was the first system I rented. right? Because I was like, oh, I better try this before I buy. And I was like, by the way, like probably like you guys, I was like the one like, oh, if you're gonna buy a video game, you should go talk to Johnny V. He's like super into it, right? And my yes, yeah, like like was always crazy about video games. That was the first one I had rented at a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Before I actually decided to buy it. But I didn't decide to buy it.
I used to work at a Blockbuster.
Oh, nice.
When we would rent N64s out when the N64 came out, and people would come in like, oh, I'm here to rent N64. We're like, oh yeah, they're all rented out. Sorry.
I'm so glad.
Rented out at my friend Mike's house.
Yeah, exactly,
Sorry.
right?
I'm so glad you
Terrible.
brought that up because I wouldn't be into games if I couldn't rent game systems. Like my family didn't have a lot of money, and so I finally convinced them to rent a system, which was a lot cheaper. And then once I did, I was like, oh my god, I love video games, and spent a whole summer, saving up change, and eventually bought a PS1. So
Do you
it's
know
cool.
that I spent an entire summer saving up money so I could import an N64 from Japan?
That's cool. That's cool.
That was crazy town.
What was the first game you played? on that system?
Obviously, Mario 64.
Awesome.
And it came with Pilot Wings, and everything was in Japanese. And but it didn't matter because, like, probably everyone that's over the age of 30 that's watching this, you remember when you played Super Mario 64 for the first time? It was like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it's like, here's new Super Mario on DS, and you're kind of like, oh, that's like, I'm sure contemporary, kids are looking at it like, oh, this is pretty cool. But like for us, where the only frame of reference that you had was, I guess, Super Mario World. Prior to that, it was like,
There was not a lot of frame of reference for that game.
No.
There was not. Well, this is
I mean-
clearly like this. It's like
right? I mean,
what?
it's like, right? Yeah, Nintendo's awesome. Never count them out.
So yeah, love Nintendo. Definitely like lots of family, close personal feelings about Nintendo, which is why they can just have their way with us now. That's
Yeah.
why they can just do whatever the heck they want. They can just say, oh, we'll make a Metroid game maybe later for the Wii U. I don't know. We'll announce it when we feel like it.
Oh, we'll do Wind Waker HD. No one wants a new Zelda.
Right.
Right? I hope I don't get in trouble for that. But I want a new. Well, I guess there is.
You know what
the
I want? I want a
the
new Zelda
Zelda's coming.
trailer. The Zelda trailers that
Holy-
we've gotten are just like, oh, hi, we're here in a conference room. We're just going to play Zelda for Wii U. And it's like, you might want to, I don't know, were there famous Zelda trailers? Were there any Zelda?
What?
Were
the
there any?
Twilight Princess trailer.
That's what I'm saying, Ben. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Oh,
I'm
I
being
thought you were being
facetious
serious.
here,
I thought you were
dog.
being serious.
It's always like that Zelda trailer. That's the reason we get hooked. And it's just kind of been like Zelda demos.
Yeah.
It's like moments
but
with the
E3
Zelda
is
team.
right around
Yeah,
the corner.
it's coming,
Oh, yeah.
man.
I mean, this is the thing that stinks about E3. If I can just vent for a minute, like as a game fan, like I am hardcore into video games. Like this is my life, and people are like, "You're crazy," but like it really is my life. Like I go home, I will leave here and go home and play like Little Big Planet or finish the Order 1888 or on Xbox. I need to do Ori and the Blind Forest. Like I have so
Right.
many different games to play. Right, like my backlog's going like. But like the entire thing is that E3 is so much fun, and I miss being able to walk around the floor and just kind of see what's going on. So I hope that there is that new Zelda there at E3 because I definitely want to check that out.
So there it is. Tune in this Friday for our top 10 Nintendo systems. It was a hard cut not putting the Game Boy Color on there. I will say this about the Game Boy Color though. We did, consider like there's the Micro, there's like the SP, there's
Yeah.
like they've just announced released a new 3DS that has games that are specific for it. And so there were other systems that did come out and did have games that were just released for it that would come up for contention. But out of them, the Game Boy Color was the best of that bunch.
You know what I miss? Like, yes, the Game Boy took AA batteries that you had to keep buying, but you put AA batteries in that thing and it would last forever.
It really would,
And
right?
now
And
the
the-
3DS, it's like just as I'm getting into something, it's like, oh, I better find my charger.
But
And
just
that flashing red.
It's so annoying.
So I fall asleep playing my 3DS. Like I play Animal Crossing, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
every night, that's what I do. And I'm sitting there, and like I will wake up in the middle of the night, and it's like there is that like flashing red light in my face, and I can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'll get on bed and plug you in.
It's a pain.
we're gonna move on to the next segment, but actually,
Sorry.
I just want to drop some history before
Okay.
we do. Gunpei Yokoi, the late great Gunpei Yokoi, was responsible for the creation of the Game Boy. That was his big thing. I remember, or I've heard that a lot of people at Nintendo came to him when the Lynx was out, when all these like the Game Gear, all these color handheld systems, and they were like, we got to make the Game Boy Color. He's like, we will do that, but not now because I cannot run it at the battery life that I find works for our audience. And they were like, but Sega's going to beat us. Their color we're not. And he's like, they won't. Just watch. And they didn't.
That's
He
incredible.
knew it. He was a very smart
I did
man.
not know that.
Game Gear was pretty wicked though.
Game Gear was wicked, but the battery life wasn't there.
Also,
Yeah.
you had to put 6 AA batteries in that thing.
That was rough.
Oh, man.
Lots of batteries.
Still, nothing's better than Turbo Express.
for the record. Just putting
saying
that out
it,
there.
Just saying it.
We're going to take a break at the midway point. 30 minutes, done.
Midway?
We're done. No, not that midway.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We're at the midway point in the show. So we're going to take a little break, guys. We're going to take a little 2-minute break, and we're going to show you a trailer, a badass trailer. This badass trailer from this week is for Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition debut trailer.
By the guys at Ninja Theory,
Right?
who happen to be a developer working on the Disney Infinity platform.
Right? Working
And-
on, he's switched back to Hulk. Loki. No love for Loki on the stream this week.
By the way, and actually, while you guys are watching this right now, so actually Loki's not in here, but Loki was Ninja Theory's first character that they did.
Right.
And they're an incredible developer. We're honored to be working with them. And I guess
So
roll your
if you
trailer.
want to see a classic game from Ninja Theory, here is the trailer for the special edition of Devil May Cry 4. A badass trailer. Check it out.
That day forth, my arm changed, and a voice echoed. Power. Give me more. Power. The Order of the Sword. The Order of the Sword, huh?
But the real problem is the Order. What if their intentions are foul?
Report back as soon as you can! Fredo, take care of Kyrie. So, you're looking to play, huh? Tough guy, huh? Alright, I guess I got some time to kill. Nero is a demon. Kyrie, I failed to save you.
Are you sure you want to let him go? It's not my business, but this could get ugly.
Though a fight every now and then does make life a little more interesting. Don't you think? I think I'll have to take you down a couple notches. This hand was made for sending guys like you back to hell. They worship a demon as a god. I need more power.
All right. A correction.
I need to apologize.
You don't need to apologize. That's
No,
extreme.
I jumped at like the fact that I'm like, oh, Devil May Cry must be necessary. That's a trap. And then it's the wrong
But they,
Devil May Cry.
But
My
they
bad.
Did, they did work on
Ninja Theory's still awesome though.
DMC, which is the remake, which is also getting a remaster, a special
just
edition.
came out.
But
So,
which just came out. This is a
That's
new
why-
trailer
yeah.
for Devil May Cry 4.
Sorry.
Capcom's crossing the streams, man. They got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Capcom's awesome though. Too.
So, right?
Anyway, someone actually just sent me a video the other day of Baymax, like the custom Baymax in Street Fighter 4. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Hey, illegal. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, it's what user-generated content. So.
So we have a new segment now that we can actually kind of fit Infinity in.
Okay.
It's not directly Infinity related, but we
Okay.
can talk about it. I don't like how much you're handling my figures,
Sorry.
Huber, I'll be honest.
Whoa!
Just kidding.
Whoa!
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're friends here. I'm just kidding.
They're all toys.
is true.
Everyone can play with them.
This is more than a toy.
You know what's interesting though is that I know for a fact that Brandon has the Sorcerer Mickey that has the special silver stars, which we only gave out at D23.
Not at work, man. Not at work.
What?
Not at work. No,
Oh
no.
my God, Duke goes deep,
Special limited edition silver star
No
Mickey.
way.
Yep,
Just
that we got
wait,
at
man.
D23.
So your
Just
safety
wait.
deposit
Looking forward
box?
to D23 this summer, John.
Just wait, bro.
I used to have a $200 Wolverine holographic card that I kept in my safety deposit box, but then I lost it. It's gone.
You
I don't-
lost it?
Yeah, someone stole it.
What
Don't know where-
happened?
don't know where it went.
Oh my god.
No idea.
That's like me. I have all these
Went
image
missing.
comics. I have all these image comics. I'm like, oh my god, Spawn's gonna be the biggest thing. Gen 13 is gonna be around forever. And now I'm sitting there like, well, I guess my little brother's into comic books. So yeah, I'm kind of.
Gone.
You lost yours. Mine
Lost.
lost value. But there's
I was
still
too
kinda
young.
lost, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I did have a topic picked out for this editorial segment. We can talk about
Sorry, please.
exclusivity with figures and comic books if you
No,
want to.
no.
You're the best guest ever, John, because you just
No.
I could just say anything and you would just go off for 20 minutes.
My
Okay, something fascinates me, John, and that is I dislike all of the Souls games. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2. I was like, nope, not for me. Because I just don't like games to beat me up. I don't want to bang my head against the wall when I play a game. I don't want to play a game that's that difficult.
'Kay.
I'm a coward. I'm fine being called a coward. It's fine.
Right.
And then along comes Bloodborne. And just purely by how it looks and the fact that it's gothic, and I love gothic horror, I love the whole theme, I was like, I gotta play this.
Right.
And it struck me that I'm playing this game because of the theme. Or the vibe, as Mr. Huber likes
As
to put
Mr.
it.
Bosman
And that
likes to say.
fascinated me that was completely the buy-in for me. That I'm like, wow, I don't like these mechanics, but I'm willing to completely overlook them because I gotta play this. So I wonder if you're a guy, you're like, okay, 1.0, okay, that looks kind of fun. I'm playing something. I'm not really a Monsters, fan. I'm not really an Incredibles fan. I like Pixar stuff. I don't really want to play with that stuff. And then comes Marvel, and you're like, oh no, I gotta get this now because I'm a huge Marvel fan. Have you ever had an experience like that where you play a game purely based on theme? Where you're like, this mechanic, I'm not really into shooters or RTS games or something, but I just love this franchise. I love this, this IP that they're bringing in. I love this genre.
This is gonna sound crazy, but the one game for me that I buy every single time, and I'm always like, wow, I'm here, is Little Big Planet. I love Sackboy. I love those characters. I love, what that represents. It's funny that you talk about, Demon Souls and all that stuff. Like I think about Brad Shoemaker, right, over at Giant Bomb, talking about like on the Giant Bombcast, talking about like how difficult this game is. I'm like, all right, sweet bro, you can go play that.
Yeah, you're really selling it.
Yeah, but then with Bloodborne, right? So I'm really bad at scary games. Really bad at scary games, like the worst at scary games,
or the best.
And so no, the worst. Like we were shooting an April Fool's Toy Box TV segment, and they're like, "We're gonna scare people." And every time I showed up to the meeting to scare people, they were actually scaring me. So all of the jokes end up looking like I'm scared. But anyway, when it comes to that, like I actually sent a message to Reiner over at Game Informer. It was like, "Hey, we should live stream this together because I want to see that game." But at the same time, I don't want to be scared. So I feel like if we're live streaming it together. So that's why I asked you, Reiner, if you're watching, but you're probably not. But if you were, that's what is happening. But when it comes to like a game that,
I was tempted to make Yarnum, which is where Bloodborne takes place, in the Toy Box. I think I might do that on next week's
Toy Box
Toy
TV.
Box Tuesday.
Right.
Or, yeah.
Hey, kids!
Yeah.
Check this out!
Yeah. We're turning into a beast.
Right.
But you clawed and yelled and screamed to be on the editorial segment to talk about your vibe-based games. Do you have a franchise like that or something specifically you wanted to address?
Most recently, The Order, 1886. All the gameplay we had seen beforehand was, business as usual, Gears of War, like cover shooter, which I like. I always play those games.
And it feels like the right time to have a game like that on one of the next-gen consoles, right?
Yeah.
Or current gen. Sorry, guys.
But I think the reason I was way more hyped than I should have been was because of the vibe, because of the tone, because of the serious look, the serious story. I love when stories take themselves very seriously, and just the Victorian era, just like Bloodborne, same exact thing, and that was it. That was all tone. Like
so that's how you got into it.
Yeah, like Gears of War, the legacy, before Gears of War 3 comes out, it's 4-player co-op. I'm really excited because I know it's going to be great. Gears of War 1 and 2 were so great, but just that world I don't like as much. The locust beasts, just the destroyed cities, but just looking at The Order, just the imagery was enough to sell me on it.
So you like horror games, I'm guessing.
horror.
Yeah, this seems to be a theme that's common.
Worst.
They're so good.
The worst.
They're so good, John.
I can't do it.
Do you really get in there viscerally? You really you react to it.
I nearly peed in my pants when I played the first Resident Evil and the dog jumped through the window. Like everyone had that experience. Like, oh, first really scary game. I can't do it.
The best is when you go back in the main hall to try to leave and you open the door and the dog jumps through the door.
I'm enough of a weenie that like even Limbo was a little bit scary to me. Like, so whatever. Anyway, keep going, dude.
Well, we actually have some awesome questions. You have 3 more minutes to submit questions. I don't know, Elyse, you still can take questions? She's standing there holding the laptop. I don't.
What's
want to
happening to our couch? You guys look like you're gonna fall asleep.
We are giving away. They're just being quiet. They were so rowdy at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
We're having a conversation over here.
Keep your mouth shut.
But like I mentioned before, we are giving away codes to get Sam, Flynn, and Cora in the digital version of Infinity 2.0. And yes.
I was gonna say, even with Resident Evil 4 to Evil Within, this has been a comparison that's been a hot topic recently because it's Shinji Mikami, same director, similar style games.
RE4 is better, so that's good that we came to that realization.
So, as a video game, it probably is better but the Evil Within's unforgiving, uncompromising, extreme tension and crushing tone make me appreciate it even more than Resident Evil 4. So it's all about tone.
You just want to slip that in there.
I just
for
want
the
to slip
record?
that in.
that was good.
It's all about
and
vibes.
also great delivery.
Yeah.
Like I was feeling that. I'm like, oh, damn. Like definitely
Those
not going to
people are
play
Mr.
that game.
Bosman over there. They're all about the hands. You always gotta like
Right.
set it
I
up.
do. I'm Italian.
Understand? Actually, I do it too.
Yeah, there you go.
So I just want to check back in one more time and see what's going on. It's a much more subtle couch now. It's much calmer over there. What do we do? Oh, it looks like. Speaking of Captain Marvel, the Captain Marvel disc that's being added. We're doing a mission for Miss Marvel over here.
You have to be quiet when there's RP going on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The best
We don't
part
have-
is
we
that
don't
that
have
is really
subtitles on.
Sam Jackson's voice.
Right.
Like that is my favorite part. Like every time I'm like, yes.
We had a good sumo match on the top of Stark Tower. We
nice.
did it.
Oh,
Did you do that? Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that's so much fun. I don't even know if people realize, especially when you play multiplayer, how many of those little challenges that Avalanche put into the game that are so much fun to do when you're doing, from multiplayer. Like you can get so distracted doing those things, and they're a total blast.
Yeah, absolutely. And it became a fun thing because we had a Flyer versus Hulk. All I had to do was throw Hulk to kill him, but Hulk obviously is like he smashes, he hurts really bad. So it was a good matchup. It was a battle for the ages.
It was a battle for the ages.
Once he figured out he could shoot Hulk, no matter what, if he was in the air, it was sort of over for him. And I was Hulk. So
You were Hulk?
It was sad. It was
You
sad.
got beat up?
I got beat by 2.
You were like the game maker. This is like.
It's incredibly embarrassing, and I'm admitting it right now. It's like,
Yeah, were we streaming that? Did
were
did
streaming
we
it.
get
Yeah,
to see
I
you
watched
get?
We could rewind the feed, and that might have happened right over your shoulder.
Hey guys, so I'm looking for a producer on the Disney Infinity team. Might be a great opportunity for you to anyway.
so if you
Go
guys
to
need a
cities, meet new
producer-
things, carry big heavy bags.
Yeah. The only problem is you have to hang around me a bunch, and I can tell you I am crazy.
So I just want to let you know, Johnny, the back of this card, as you can see right there, these are all the questions I was going to ask you in the beginning of the show.
Well, can we run
We
late?
immediately went on. We can take time after
I don't
that.
think
But for the
Brian.
next,
Brian, are you gonna care if we run late? Well, it depends. Actually, does your show have a hard stop?
yes, at 7, literally the plug gets pulled. Everything
Oh.
goes dark. The whole building shuts down
Wow.
immediately at 7 o'clock.
You think that's funny? That happens at Disney, right? Like, it is really true. Cut to the couch. Show Matt Sully. Show him.
Yeah, it is true. At 6:30, like the phones turn off. Like you're sitting at your desk, and like literally the light goes dink. I've been
Right.
at the office like late at night when we were submitting Infinity 2 actually, and I was like 9 or 10 o'clock, working away, and all of a sudden all the lights just shut off
Right.
because they're motion activated. So you're just typing. It's like. I guess I'm staying here for the next.
It's actually it's a really cute thing because it's like hey, we make video games with Crunch, like
Right.
all the lights are off, Sully, go turn the lights on, like but it's anyway, sorry, I digress.
So yeah, we will. We might have touched on some of these topics. I'll go back and peruse those and see if any are relevant after the show. But for the next 20 minutes, I want to get directly into 16 minutes. I want to get directly into our community so they can win some cool stuff and throw some questions at John that come directly from people who've been watching you for the last hour.
Great.
Yeah, hey John, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
John,
What was your
we're not
name
here,
again?
please. Please,
Elyse.
John,
Hey.
Elyse?
Elyse.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
thought you
hey,
said
that's
Simone.
okay.
All right, hi Elyse. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on
problem.
GT Live here.
Yeah, and now for the chat, this is from RHD, who's like one of our big regulars. If you gave him a shout out, he'd probably go nuts.
What up? Put the camera on me. What up, RHD? Should I do it like Ice-T? No, that didn't.
No, that was perfect. No, that was perfect. Don't,
Really?
don't go back.
You don't like that? Right. He's gonna be like,
Let's
here's
think
an
about live.
animated GIF of this
One-
fat guy.
one
doing
take
this.
wonder, John.
All right. Anyway. Okay.
So he wants to know any difficulties you had running into developing 2.0, and I guess what's more interesting is what is the biggest thing you had to cut, or something that you didn't want to cut that you ultimately had to?
Okay, so biggest difficulties for our team was actually determining what the roster would be. I mean, because that's always so controversial. And then in terms of the thing that we had to cut, that would definitely be, for me personally, a character that was very near and dear to my heart, but I don't want to say what that character was for our Disney Infinity fans that might be watching and be like, hey, is that character ever going to come in a future version? And I don't even want to answer that question. So it's character roster, and the second answer is character roster or character.
And the lights going out.
And the lights going
It's
out.
always
Yeah,
tough.
I like, but that, yeah.
Yeah.
Cutting lights is also difficult. But as long as you have someone wonderful like Matt, you can have them turn back on.
And Emo Sabi wants to know, can you ask if there are plans to restock Baymax and Hero? Because I'm finding them difficult to find. Like, is that kind of a supply-demand thing that you guys always get questions about?
Yeah, totally. But our strategy is not to purposely try to drive demand by not making enough figures out there. Our strategy is actually to make sure that everyone that's a fan of any Disney or Marvel character has an opportunity to pick up that character. So for the person that asked that question, what was his name again?
Emo Sabi. So there's hope for Emo Sabi.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do me a favor, like look on Amazon, look on an online retailer, because they probably have the ability to do it. It might be just like the region that he or she is located in that might not have that character. But we always work really, really hard to make sure that we have demand there for our customers.
And this is from Somewhat Awesome Games. Do you personally think that playsets are a better system or game mode power discs? Any preference?
Wow. It's Somewhat Awesome Games, who does incredible YouTube videos. Have you guys ever seen his YouTube videos for Infinity?
No.
Oh, they're amazing.
Oh, so a very specific Infinity fan coming in
yes.
and asking a very
yes.
pointed Infinity question.
What up, dude?
Nice.
It's actually really funny. He had done a toy box where he had recreated GTA inside of Disney Infinity 1.0.
I saw that.
And then I think it was Totillo. Someone on Kotaku was like, "Look what they did in a Disney game," and it was like more fun because it was user-generated content. But regarding, what was the question again?
Do you prefer playsets or game mode power discs?
Okay. So I think he's talking about, do you prefer playsets or we have toy box games? I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting, I mean, it really, really depends. For me personally, and this is just a personal JV thing. This is not the view of the team, or Avalanche, Disney Infinity, whatever. I love the toy box games because any character can play inside the toy box game, and I think that's really cool. But what's cool about the play sets is that the play sets tell stories and the structured gameplay and stuff that we create. So there's kind of this 50% here, 50% there. So terrible answer to your question, Somewhat Awesome Games, but some perspective.
You're going to hear about that in a video, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to start this one off with a comment from Rickham Robo. He says, "I think any chance Brandon has to lay out all his Infinity figures in one place, he'll take it." And that's very true.
It's true.
But he wants to know if you have any nieces, nephews, or just like younger kids in your family that are obsessed with Infinity, and your involvement makes you super cool to them.
God, what's awesome is that you would think that this is the case. So I have a half brother and a half sister. My half brother Teddy, who's probably not watching, but what's up, dude? And my half sister Jessica, also hello. 11 and 13, huge video gamers, especially my little bro Teddy. And as we're he's gotten to that age, which is the same age we got to, where he's like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but also shooting people in the head in Call of Duty's cool. And so, but what's funny is that I feel like what he's always said to me is, one thing I really appreciate about Infinity, Johnny, is that it has characters that people care about, and it's also it's not like a kid's game. It's more sophisticated. I'm like, well, this comes from 11.
You want to talk about violence? There's a brutal Stark Tower death match happening right now over your shoulder, John.
So while in my own personal family, I'm still older brother Johnny. But certainly there is with anyone that works in video games, oh yeah, this dude makes video games, and then everyone's like, oh sweet, and think that it's the coolest thing in the world, and then they ask you so you play games all day, and I've now defaulted to the answer yep, that's what I do, because there is no right answer. So there is my long-winded answer. Thank you for the question.
Well, this question from One Last Word kind of ties in with that. Do you and the team ever feel limited making a family-friendly game?
Oh, that's an interesting question. No. And the answer is no. It's actually not about being limited. What it actually is, and I don't know if people really appreciate the way that they should, is how difficult it is to make compelling content that not only Teddy Vignocchi is going to think is the coolest thing in the entire world, but Brandon Jones is going to think is the coolest thing in the entire world. And it's kind of like we always take a page out of Pixar, right? And if you ask the Pixar guys or if you watch any of their movies, they talk about like we don't make kids movies. We make movies for us that kids happen to like. Another way of interpreting that is, we feel like we make a piece of software that, while the primary audience might be, I'm laughing at these jokers on the couch.
Giggling, John.
Right. I mean, and here you see a couple of 30-year-olds like goofing around the couch. I mean, case in point right here, right? We make a piece of software that definitely features characters in a roster that's relevant to kids, but a level of sophistication in the gameplay and what you can do that also makes adults like it. And that's part of the reason why, as we've seen with Infinity, like it ends up being, I mean, you're a perfect example. It ends up being, we call it at Disney like the holy grail, like the 4 quadrant, right? So it's for boys and girls and young and old. And when we first had started Infinity, we were like, wow, we thought that this was gonna be like 70-30 boys to girls. And then it ended up being closer to like 55% boys, 45% girls. And a lot of that had to do with some of the strong female characters we've put in here, and we will continue to support strong female characters and making a game that everyone enjoys. And Disney's all about family entertainment, and that's what we're trying to do with Infinity.
Yeah, that Jasmine figure's got me thinking.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Jasmine your favorite Disney princess?
I like Jasmine a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So growing up, like Jasmine was it for you. You were like,
yeah, I like Jasmine a lot. I guess I like Belle.
Belle.
Yeah.
Little town.
Such a quiet.
Whoa! Did you guys hear that? Wait, do it one more time.
Quiet village.
Yes.
You need to sing, man. You need to.
No.
You need to see the blood.
I can't.
Give her a minute.
I can't at all.
Can you do it right now?
I can't. I can do more of like a
Every
Gaston.
day, like the one before.
I can't. sometimes Ian, who's in the control booth, we do like Gaston and LeFou's duet together.
Good morning, Belle. I only know this because someone, I should know anyway, but someone had done a video where they recreated all of, have you seen this?
I think I might have. Wait.
All of the musicals, all the musical sections of Beauty and the Beast in the toy box and sang it. And I think it's the most brilliant thing. And I used to play it. I used to watch it. And when it was too quiet in the office, I used to turn up the speakers as loud as I could on my computer and play it. And everyone was like, what is going on? But you do have a beautiful voice.
I don't, but thank you.
Aww.
You've got a great voice.
No, I don't.
Actually, there was a question earlier that I didn't include, but I wish I had. People were asking if you've done any voices in any of the games.
Have I ever done any voices in any games? Nah.
You should.
Are there any citizens of New York that we can just smack around?
No, unfortunately at Disney, I have never done that.
Oh, you should.
Yet.
No, not even yet. I mean, it's like, yeah, not even yet. Should I ever be offered the opportunity to do something silly like that, I might try, but yeah. I love the fact that, like, have you guys watched these dorks on the couch? Like, they are, like, super, like,
touch the couch for a second?
You have no idea what goes on here on a daily basis, John.
Can we just get Ben Moore's smile right here? Can we just get that captured?
I'm a little upset.
Personal.
Kyle's playing cheap.
Yeah.
Right
We're
now.
going to see the gameplay.
Ben, get good.
No, this is Kyle. This is Kyle tactics right now.
Hey, here's my trick.
Drown.
You guys are playing. Here, Kyle, do me
Look
a
at
favor.
this. Ridiculously cheap. Look at this. I can't do anything.
That's like my brother. He used to grab my wrists and punch me in the face with them and be like, stop hitting yourself, which is exactly what you just sounded like.
Are we capped on questions?
No, there's a lot more.
Yeah, well, let's get some codes out.
Why is that man sweating? I don't
Why
know.
is that
I'm
woman
nervous.
sweating?
Right? No, you're not sweating at all. You look fine.
This you probably answered a billion times. Favorite figure, both of you.
Fair deal. You go first, Brandon.
My favorite's Nova. I love him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, love the gameplay. I mean, flyers win. I mean, it just the web slingers are cool, but anybody that can fly is just super
Do you
awesome.
think that's a honeymoon stage, Brandon, because he's newer?
I love
It
that.
might be. We'll see in 3.0. We'll see if it comes back. Ask me that question the next time we have you on for 3.0, and then we'll see if that's changed.
Well, I don't know what you're
and I was
talking
surprised
about
because
there.
I was not that familiar with Nova the character.
That's what's so cool, right? Because this is, so we talk about this. We're like, hey, what's fun about this is the fact that we actually had the opportunity to introduce Disney fans to Marvel, Marvel fans to Disney.
Yeah.
It's something that's really, really fun. And even people that might have been fans of Marvel, but not as familiar with their incredible roster of characters that they have. So for me, though, let me think. From 2.0,
Doesn't have a prepared answer. I'm surprised.
it's but I'm gonna stick with Korra because I had said that my favorite character was a female character that was coming as part of 2.0, and yes, Korra is part of the digital version of Infinity, and right now, and I'm really I think she's awesome, right? I mean, it's Olivia Wilde. It's just super cool. Plus, she's got web slinging. Plus, she's got a katana. I mean, we talk about how cool. And Olivia did the voice. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Duh. It's just awesome.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that actually.
This gets into a little bit of the nitty gritty of the industry, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. But it's from Romulus, who wants to know if the development of Tron 3 was the reason behind the digital-only release of the Tron characters.
Say it one more time.
If the development of Tron 3, the film, was the reason behind the digital-only release of the Tron characters.
So I don't that's a very what was it one more time? Sorry, because you know what? Hey, wait, hold on. Just before everyone thinks oh my God, you totally caught JV flat-footed.
Yeah.
Romulus happened to be an old so I had an old friend that I worked with at Midway named Romulus Taylor, who went by the name Romulus, and so it was and I haven't talked to him in a decade.
And
so
he's
when you're
digging for secrets.
Romulus says, and then I'm thinking oh my God, is that Romulus? And all of these old memories just came to my head. So wait, one more time with the question.
I guess they just want to know if the digital-only release of the Tron characters had anything to do with the fact that there's a new movie, why you didn't make
So
physical.
all right, so straight up, I know nothing
About the movie.
about a new Tron film. While I personally, Johnny V, thinks that that's an awesome thing. I don't know anything about whether a new film like that exists or not. So,
But you do know about these digital characters, and I'm curious.
Thank
actually,
you.
One of my questions is, did that work? Was that worked out well? Has that been received well? To have figures, to have characters.
I
that
think
don't
as a
have
Disney
figures.
Infinity fan, you know how that was initially received.
Right.
Hashtag Trongate.
Right.
So I think that the key thing is this. The reason why we went through and did it the way that we did was because the iOS version of the game came so late after the fact of console. And so the thing is we wanted to give our fans that were, by the way, a big part of Infinity 1 and making it really cool. We wanted to give them something special, and so that's where we had come with the idea of let's give something back to our Apple fans with this coming much further than when the console guys got it. So we gave them those figures. Now, is that to say that, in the future we couldn't do physical versions, or we wouldn't do physical version, or is the book closed on this? The answer is absolutely not, but that's as far as I'm going today.
I think it's a great idea to give people just additional figures, and if the way to do that is digital, if that's the best way for you guys to do it, you'd rather have digital than nothing.
More characters
right?
is a win
Yeah.
for everybody.
It's the weirdest thing though, because we thought we were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We thought we were doing something for all of our Apple fans. Instead, there was pitchforks and torches about.
I didn't even know that.
But I also got the sense that you were.
You're how can I just caught in the crossfire asking the question here?
Wow.
Well,
rough question there, Willems.
Brandon will tell you all about it.
But I also got the vibe when I saw it that you were kind of putting your toe in the water. It's let's do these two characters that are in themselves digital, so it makes sense that there is no real world version of them because they're in the grid.
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense. It's I see what you did there.
Right, thematically that totally existed, and it was fun. I mean, I remember. Kotaku was the one that actually broke the story about those characters coming, and it was Mike Fahey. And Mike Fahey is one of the funniest people I've ever met. I mean, so here I am at Comic-Con a few years ago, totally nervous, demoing Infinity to him. And we started showing some of the Tron content, the recognizer, and then he did this MCP voice right there, and he's what is, greetings program. He did this terrible, guttural, scary, but reminding me exactly of the film. And then that was why we eventually went to Kotaku, as we were hey, we're going to release these characters digitally. Fahey, you have to do this. And I remember Brian was are you out of your mind? What are you thinking? I'm we should really give these guys a chance. And then Brian Nelson, our PR team, was okay, I guess we'll put you on the phone with him. And then, so that's how we ended up at least announcing the characters. But yeah, the whole digital thing was the point, and Fahey had brought that up.
I can't believe people would freak out. Any other game, you get DLC additional characters, people are going nuts for it. Like,
No. It's like the thing is this: we have and hopefully one day you can be part of our community. What happens is, yeah, exactly. What happens is, it's so difficult when you're dealing with the most popular IP in the world, and that's part of what makes Infinity so special, right? I mean, this is like the game where the most popular IP in the world comes together in an interactive setting, and so you can't make everybody happy, but damn if we don't try. I mean, that's the most important thing.
well,
Let's go. Do we have one more question?
this is one more, and also if it's,
It's PC, but you're gonna ask it anyway, so go ahead.
Sazanami Style wants to know, has there ever been an idea to honor the video game history of Disney with collaborations with other companies to make DLC toys like DuckTales stuff or Castle of Illusion, things like that? Like, are you guys into those old games?
Oh, of course. I think that you look no further than what we did with Tim and his amazing team at Double Fine with Grim Fandango. And then I think you also go and you look at what's happening with Day of the Tentacle, which is announced at PSX. And then our licensing group, a guy by the name of Seth Davis is there. He is putting a whole bunch of our old legacy titles out on Good Old Games. And so you're seeing definitely Disney support that. When it comes to Infinity, though, that's a great question, and one that is something that we're acutely aware of. So right now, what's a lot of fun is that we have this mentor team. I think you know a little bit about these guys. So these are dudes actually out of the community that were winning our top 5 Toy Box TVs of the week consistently. We actually went and gave them full-time jobs, and if you guys are watching, hey, what's going on? You will miss you, and we'll see you, I think, next week. Anyway, awkward. So anyway, these guys actually are creating toy boxes that people can download totally for free. And a couple of them that they've done are absolutely nods to the hat or tips of the hat to legacy games that we've done. I've seen levels that they've done, and also they're telling new and original stories with some of our legacy characters. So to answer the question kind of officially, yes, we are very aware when it comes to Disney Infinity of the fact that people love classic Disney games, whether it's DuckTales or Rescue Rangers, those games I loved. But at the same time, we want to make sure that when we do it the right way.
Yeah, and there's actually a question about whether you have a favorite community contribution.
Oh, that would be totally unfair for me to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is this: what we love as a team is that we've created, and they've been a big part of this amazing community. I was actually part of the reason when I showed up, Brandon, and I was totally stressed out. I just gotten out of a big, gigantic corporate synergy meeting. But at that meeting, right, with all these big executives around Disney and everything, at that meeting I talked about how important the community is to Disney Infinity, and we listen to what people say all the time and react. Before we even went on, I apologize. I hadn't even responded to my Twitter feed yet this morning for what fans have been talking to or asking about or things like that. So, I guess it's just when it comes down to it, what we really care about is our community and building something around Infinity. Of course, you've got fans of Disney and fans of Marvel, but what's important is for us to build fans of Infinity. And so hopefully we're going to get there over time.
You got some fans.
We have a few fans.
Just a couple.
We're
growing.
But making them, they're part of our team too.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand. I mean, this is why we do this Toy Box TV thing.
Right.
It is a gigantic pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
my favorite submission changes every week. It's just they put up new submissions. I'm this one's my favorite now because it's just amazing. I still have no idea how they pull off some of the stuff
that they build.
Do. Yeah, it just.
I mean, it is amazing. And we just recently had a thing where actually someone was they had submitted a toy box that they had managed to find a glitch in where they were taking items from interiors and putting them in exteriors, which, by the way, the mentors did as well in some of their toy boxes. But for some reason, this particular person had done it in such a way that was corrupting save files. So we were and this is freaking out. And so we're on Twitter, we're responding to people hey, we're not gonna have top 5, we're gonna have top 5 or top 4 this week, and this is what's happening. So we're in constant touch with our community, trying to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. But like that's the kind of crazy stuff when you are truly like Cliffy B talked about this the other day. He's like, it's so much fun when you're talking to your community almost in real time as you're developing and as you're maintaining your product. And it's like that's what's happening with us, and it's been happening for the past few years, and I love it. And that's why we love our entire Infinity community because it's happening all the time.
I have staff questions. Well, my wife has a question. Actually, a statement.
Yeah. How is she?
She's great.
Yeah.
She wants more girls in the game. I'm going to tell you that every time we hang out, John.
Which is totally fair.
She's going to be a broken record.
Totally fair.
I literally came home and reached into my backpack and was like, guess what I got today? And I was going to pull out Loki and
right. She's
and,
like,
and Falcon, and she's like,
right.
Girls? And I'm just like, no.
Okay,
So-
okay, I get it. Just
Yeah,
heard
I'm
it.
sure you get a
We
ton of
heard
that.
it. Yep.
The other, Mr. Kyle Bosman wanted me to make sure to bring up the fact that Mr. Yusuke or Yusuke, possibly pronounced, Hashimoto, the director of Bayonetta 2, mentioned on Twitter that he would like to see a Spider-Gwen game, and you seem somewhat interested in that, John. You're like, hey, send me a DM.
So yes, that's true. And you know what I was doing? And actually, we have had DMs. It's funny that you say that. What I was trying to do is what I always try to do, which is when someone wants to do something with Disney, it doesn't matter what it is, I try to connect them with the right people. Even if the person I connect them with doesn't think that's the greatest idea in the world, which is not to say that Spider-Gwen game is not the greatest idea in the entire world, but even when someone says something like that, it's just important because it's important for our company, it's important for fans. Our entire theory is always do right by fans, and or do right by the creators, and you're going to do right by the fans. And so I think that what I basically had said back to him was, if there's anything I can do, if you're not already in contact with the guys at Marvel, I'd be happy to provide that introduction to you. So that was all.
So yeah, that was actually my follow-up question. Was social media is working for you in that regard, and kind of setting up fun opportunities and meeting people for the first time? That are
Yeah,
involved
I
and
mean
stuff?
yeah. I mean we just try to talk to everybody all the time.
Still just one-on-one slaughter going on behind you. That's all. That's all
Right.
that's happening. Good decoy use there, though, for Loki. I like that. It's one of Loki's leveled up moves. Oh, Huber's in there now. Oh, so Ben had enough of getting schooled by Mr. Bosman. Now.
No, Kyle Bosman has reached a new low. This is scummy play right now. I'm ashamed.
You guys are still doing the same thing.
I'm Stark Tower Sumo Champion.
Things are getting emotional over
They
here.
have all of the Avengers playset before them.
So you guys did, if anyone's watching this, 40 minutes ago, this is exactly what I was talking about. You can actually just get caught in this entire thing, right? And you guys are just right.
Kyle's pure evil.
This is pure evil. This is chaotic
But
evil.
look, I mean, Loki's really powerful. You know what I mean? It's
So I was.
If there's anybody to cheat as, it would be Loki, right?
So on Toybox TV, I think it's either last week. No, I don't think it's last week. It's this week's episode. Allison and I do a Let's Play with Falcon and Loki, and we actually play a Capture the Point toy box. And in that Capture the Point toy box, there are 2 points that we need to capture, and the score goes to 400. And so I'm playing as Falcon, and I'm like, of course I've got the advantage because Falcon can fly fast between point A and point B. No big deal. I see the map. Map's pretty open. Not worried about it. What Allison ends up doing, and you're going to see this play out on Toybox TV, is she sets up a decoy on point A, and then she goes and flies to point B and captures that. And I get confused about where Allison really is because I end up battling the decoy, and then when the decoy actually sits on point A, it's gaining points for her. So it actually is tripping off the trigger plate there, between the two. So
you immediately had that fixed.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. Immediately, yeah. We immediately ended up fixing that bug. No, but she, I still beat her though.
And my final question, we're going a little bit over time, but is everybody okay? Ian, you all right? Everybody okay going over time?
He's like, oh my God, we had 500 people just drop off.
Disney Infinity episodes going over time, big surprise. I want to talk about Toybox TV just for a second. I think that's awesome that not only the producer of the game would be involved in a weekly podcast that goes up on YouTube to talk to the community and show off creations that are being made, but then you got your big job bump and you're still doing the show.
Yeah.
You didn't get VP and you say, okay, well, get someone in there to still host. Are you going to be doing that for the foreseeable future? Are you still going to be involved in the show?
As much as I can. The thing is that started before any fun promotion stuff, whatever. And that the promotion stuff really doesn't matter. What matters is giving back to the community. And the thing is that we do that, and like I said that under my breath like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, it is a huge pain in the butt to record that show every single week, and God bless the entire team that does Toy Box TV, dealing with my insane schedule, trying to do everything that I do. But we do that for the community, and I really hope that we really hope that people appreciate that. I mean, we're on like episode 61, I think, this week.
60 was the last one. 60.
Yeah, so we're on 61 this week, and I mean, it's crazy. And we actually do it just to highlight the amazing people that are part of our community, that use their creativity and use their imagination to take all these, incredibly famous Disney and Marvel characters and tell their own stories. And we think that that's a really important part. I mean, in the beginning, we were talking about how, like, hey, people are going to be able to create things in the toy box. They're going to be able to upload them, and then we're going to be able to determine which ones, obviously because of, like, it's a Disney product and there's guidelines, we're going to be able to determine which ones are available for people to download or not. And that was like a very basic design function of people have toy boxes, we should let people download whatever. But there was a moment in time when we were like, we should actually highlight the cool ones. And then that kind of turned into, we should do some voiceover stuff about them. And then that kind of turned into, well, let's do this Toy Box TV thing, which, by the way, is like 4 of us, right? That like get together in the same meeting room where I have like my Monday staff meetings with my team. And we put up a green screen and we shoot there for an hour and just, talk about it. That is where it's become. So it is not like and the marketing team doesn't like invest a bunch of money into like driving traffic into it. It's all organic. And so and what's nice is that it's about our community. I don't actually really care. We don't actually really care if, we light the entire world off with Toy Box TV. What we care about is that the people that care about Infinity have a fun weekly show that they can go to, and we can celebrate every one of our community members each week. So
and that's how I feel when I do, I stream the Toy Box every Tuesday on GT on this channel. And, we got 100 and 150 people that show up every week. It's a small team, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and there's like Disney Infinity fan sites that are all over the place that are amazing. Love you guys. And those guys are doing the same thing. And I mean, to tell you, like, it could be a Thursday, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever it is. And I'll be like sitting there, I'll be like, oh, like checking my Twitter feed. And I will go and I'll watch those shows and I'll participate in those things because I care about not only myself, but obviously everyone. Avalanche, all of our developers that we're working with, and of course our community team. We care about our community. So
I think that's clear. I think you've said that a couple times already.
Yeah, I know. Do I keep hammering that?
Just a little bit.
Sorry.
So that's all the questions you have. That is all the questions I have. I might have some reserved for after the cameras go off, some pointed stuff. Try to catch you off guard, but it is live, so I'll be kind. I just want to tell you really quickly some stuff you can. Hey, what's happening? What? I'm trying to tell the viewers at home what they can watch on game trailers.
Dudes are legitimately having fun. You guys are legitimately having fun.
Kyle Bosman has reached a new low, and this is the closest we've been to beating him. We gotta beat Kyle. We're not leaving this couch until Kyle Bosman is defeated. No.
Vignocchi, any of the work that you're doing on the playsets for 3.0, you're wasting your time. You literally just need to do a one-on-one PvP thing. And apparently that will hook any hardcore gamer.
It's like we need to force a situation like this into the main mission flow. Yeah, it's awesome.
Should we go to you guys? Should we focus on this? What are the stakes here?
Focus on these guys. Actually, Brandon, why don't you and I call this like announcers?
Okay.
Okay.
Hulk's doing a lot of swinging. He's not hitting anything.
No, you be serious. I'll be color.
Okay.
30
seconds left. It's tied. We got 30 seconds left. It is currently tied. Loki versus Hulk.
And look at the big green guy jump around.
We got some invisible moves happening from Loki. A little bit of deception there. I don't know what the rule keepers have to say about that. Oh, and Hulk goes flying over. Oh, no, Hulk is back.
Yeah! Oh, God.
Hulk is back with a smash. Let's see if he can take him.
That Shikari scepter is sharp.
He killed himself.
And in his rear.
I got Steve.
He killed himself. Good job.
Awesome.
Do I get to keep my job now?
Holy crap. Redemption.
All to shame.
Someone. Now wait, who ended up winning?
Matt took that one.
No, I don't care who you are. I care what character you are.
Hulk.
Can
Hulk
I
fun.
get a Hulk smash?
Hulk smash!
You are the biggest dork in the world, Sully. I love you.
I haven't sweat that much in so long.
Yeah, well, look at me.
Great match.
Jumping
Great
up.
match.
Awesome.
Great match.
Holy crap.
So Kyle, you like Loki? It's safe to say it's a good character for you.
Yeah, I mean, I like Stark Tower Sumo.
I don't know if I've had me some Stark Tower Sumo.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff to experience at 2.0.
Yeah.
Really quick, I'm going to divert attention back from Kyle Bosman to the table and talk to you really quickly about some stuff coming on Game Trailers this week. As we mentioned before, we got the top 10 Nintendo systems that will be up on Friday. Got to get to cutting that pretty soon. We have some awesome Just Plays this week. You know, every now and then you got to edit some stuff.
Right.
We have 2 parts. Bloodborne is so huge in the office. We have 2 Just Plays simultaneously for Bloodborne. We have the gold team and the blue team. We have the first one that I was in, and the second one, which we shot today, which will be going up later in the week. A Life is Strange episode 2 Just Played will be going up. You were playing that the last time I saw you. You digging it?
Yeah, oh, totally.
Little Just Played preview right there.
I haven't finished yet, but yeah, I can't wait to see how that game unfolds.
GT Time, of course, will be tomorrow. Mandatory Update, of course, will be on Saturday as usual. If you have not seen our Bloodborne musical, which was the last episode of Mandatory Update, I strongly advise you check that out. Tabletop Adventures, of course, is back this week. And I can't specifically say what she's going to be chatting about, but Andrea Renee has a bunch of super secret stuff.
Oh, my friend, my old friend, still my friend, Andrea Renee. I just all of a sudden my brain had a huge
I know that person!
Andrea Renee's the best. Every time I walk into a GameStop, I see Andrea Renee. I'm like, yeah, I know her.
So it doesn't matter what she's covering. You'll tune in to these videos.
Yeah,
All right, good.
she's awesome.
And our streams this week, speaking of Life is Strange Episode 2, you will be streaming that tomorrow. No, you won't. No, you won't. No,
Oh,
right.
wow. Another awkward moment right at the end of the show.
But that's why you tune in to GT Live to find out about these things that are happening.
If I'm here, there's going to be an awkward moment. Trust
Tomorrow.
me.
Yeah, tomorrow's stream is up in the air. Did we finally confirm that?
Dragon Quest Heroes.
Dragon Quest
Huber
Heroes,
and
which was
Ben.
on last week's GT Live. Ben Moore will be returning. Ben Moore will be, see, the unfortunate thing, even though the whole stream is Disney Infinity, we can't just watch the whole game the whole time because we do want to talk to you and get some get some answers from you.
Thank
But
you
it's
for the opportunity,
but
man.
it's a shuffle, between the table and the game. So for anybody that felt that that Dragon Quest Heroes did not get its due last week, you can check it out tomorrow on the stream. And Friday, Mr. Michael Huber, who's addicted to full playthrough Fridays, will be playing the entirety of The Assignment, which is the first part DLC of Evil Within, which I have not finished, but I played a little bit of it, and it is super awesome. And Toy Box Tuesday, next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on this channel. And when does Toy Box TV go up?
It goes up, hopefully, every Thursday, right in the morning, right around 11 Pacific Standard Time it goes up. And so we should have a new episode. I saw it got approved tomorrow morning. Thanks for giving a shout out. And we
Anything else? What else you got coming up?
We definitely have to link back and forth between our shows, and we also, for our community that's watching, need to link back to everything that our community is doing because they're also doing great shows too. Anything else that's coming up, in terms of
just anything, John?
Oh yeah, I see what you're doing.
Just oh well, no, I mean.
Oh, I can see the head looking at me.
I just want to mention. I just want to say for the record, you've said 3 or 4 words throughout the show that I just this thing in the back of my head wanted to pounce on it immediately, but I held back.
Thank you.
I'll say what they are after the camera stops.
Is there anything else that? Nothing except that if you guys haven't
2 new
played,
figures, 2 new discs.
Yeah, if you guys haven't played
2.0's
Infinity 2 yet, please give it a try. Promise you won't be disappointed. And we're growing platform over time.
If you go sumo style with Hulk and Loki, you're guaranteed
That's
not to be
right.
disappointed.
I mean, that's actually. Guys are having a fun time.
I'm gonna have to tear the controllers away from those guys. Thank you so much for watching GT Live. That has been our episode. Thank you so much, Mr. John Vignocchi. Thank you, Matt Soley over on the couch.
Am I supposed to clap? You're clapping. Now I don't feel awkward.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can subscribe to us on Twitch. You can also subscribe. We have 2 YouTube channels. We have youtube.com/GameTrailers and /GT Reviews are our 2 channels. You can visit GameTrailers.com. It's a website. You can go to it and watch all the videos there. And like I said, thanks so much, John Vignocchi.
Thank you,
for
man.
coming in.
I love
That
your
was a lot of
shirt.
fun. Oh yeah,
I'm so glad I didn't wear my Mickey shirt today.
Mickey shirt on today. Had to look formal and wear Disney at the same time, and I was like, oh, I can do that kind of.
Oh, wow.
And of course, thank you, Kyle Bosman and Ben Moore for playing the game. Actually, no, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Huber. Kyle, we need to talk.
Yeah. Cheap tactics. Stun lock.
And thanks, thanks, Matt, for playing backup and bringing all the stuff.
Taking down Kyle.
At least I
And,
can watch it.
Yeah, he dethroned it.
and thank you. I also got a little present from
Oh
Mr.
yeah, I
John
did.
Vignocchi before we started.
So like when
I
we were
got-
coming out of that synergy meeting, they were like, and
There's another plug
I know
that you can
a
give.
huge, gigantic fan of Disney that would love this. So Walt Disney Records is re-releasing all of the classic albums over time, and the Pinocchio one is what they gave today. It's absolutely amazing, and
what
I
you did not
couldn't-
know when I freaked out was that Pinocchio is my favorite Disney film.
Yeah, why is it your favorite Disney film?
I
I know, but like, look at that face. Can we please get a close up on
What?
that? Do the what again?
What?
Right.
Wait,
Was
because
it-
like you know me, or because Pinocchio sucks? What was that? What for?
No
Whoa,
comment.
whoa. Pinocchio and the S word do not go
I'm just
anywhere
that's what that
in
sounded
this
like.
live stream.
I said my favorite film is Pinocchio, and she said what? And so I'm wondering like where that came from.
I
Like,
can
what was-
appreciate a
you
man
were
that likes
surprised?
puppets.
Yeah, like puppets. Well,
There is like so many awkward jokes I could throw in there right there, but I'm not going to.
Well, to me, it's an interesting comment on just the whole Pinocchio story is an interesting comment on being a creative person.
That's true.
And the whole concept of like creating something, having that thing have a life of its own, creating a community, seeing them go off and
Look
take
how you
the
brought it
work.
all
You know what I
back.
mean? Take the work that you've done. Well, I think that's why I like Disney, because I think that's something that's strongly enforced in all the stuff that they do. But I have a trivia question for the room.
Okay.
What was special about the collection of music from the film Pinocchio when it was first released?
So you asked me this question already.
There was an
and
LP. There was an album of the Pinocchio music. Because you could say the music is somewhat iconic. When You Wish Upon a Star is kind of like the theme of Disney.
I love how your eyes are going like,
I got nothing.
like here. Wait, turn the camera on me. Eyes are like this. like I'm gonna give you the answer.
And actually,
no. Brandon, what is the answer?
The Pinocchio album was the first album ever in cinematic history to have the title Original Film Soundtrack. It was Pinocchio.
See, I was gonna say that like his face was on the record, so like and like a hole for a nose, so you could put your nose through it. So I'm glad that I didn't try that.
So yeah, so I got some discs here. I got my Pinocchio album.
Yeah,
I'm walking
there it
away.
is.
It was a win. Thank you so much, John. And thank you
you.
so much for watching, everybody. Thank you guys for coming by and bringing Disney stuff. We will be back with another week for another GT Live next Wednesday. See you then. Take care.